Hi, friends. I can't believe we've come to the end of kindergarten. I wanted to take this time to read you some books that we never got a chance to read together. Before I start this book, I want you to look closely at this illustration. What do you see? I see people, and I see a grandma reading to kids. I see some men playing checkers. I see a dog getting his belly rubbed. I see kids playing. I see a baby. I think they're on a bus because I see a steering wheel and windows. What does this illustration make you think about? What do you wonder about this illustration? What questions do you have about what's happening? I wonder if they are related or just friends. I wonder if they all live together. I wonder how they met. Well, this book is called A Bus Called Heaven. Abandoned, the bus appeared one morning from a sea of traffic right outside Stella's house, where no bus should be. Tired, old, and sick, it had a hand-painted sign on it, held down with packing tape. The sign said, Heaven. The bus brought change to Stella Street. Traffic slowed where no traffic had slowed before. People stopped and talked together. Just a little, but they talked. Everyone is wondering what that bus is doing there. On the front of the window, do you see that pink sign? That says abandoned. That means someone has left it there and walked away. Do you see friends trying to look in the windows to see what's happening? I see kids pointing and asking questions about it. The sign, do you see the sign that has the P with the red circle around it? That says no parking. And above that, do you see the picture of the tow truck? That means if you park on the street, you will get towed away. It's illegal to park there. Stella changed too. She took her thumb from her mouth, where it usually lived, and said, Mommy, that old bus is as sad as a whale on a beach. Then she pushed open the door and climbed on board. You see, friends, I have a Post-it note there with a C. Do you remember that means we're making a connection? And I can make a connection to this story because when I was a little girl, just like Stella, I also sucked my thumb. It was always in my mouth, but I grew out of it. Stella, the color of moonlight, stood among the bottles, cans, and trash. Friends, think about the color of moonlight. Visualize that. When I think about the color of moonlight, I think white, but shiny and shimmery. Pale. No color at all, really. That is how Stella looks in this book. She was so pale, you could almost see through her. It could be ours, she whispered. Whose? Asked Nikki, Vicky, Alex, Yasmin, and Poe. What did she say? Asked Mrs. Dimitros. Everyone is looking at her. flowers, she said louder. Oh, friends, can you see what they're doing? You see all the people are pushing the bus into her yard. Well, whoever's it is, it needs to come off the road, said Stella's mom. And when Dad came home that afternoon, he found an old bus where the front yard used to be. The wheels stick out onto the sidewalk, he said. There are sure to be regulations. Regulations mean rules. Well, it's staying here, said Stella. That's my regulation. The next morning, Stella looked out her front window. People were sitting on the wall, where no one had sat before. Under the bus were Esther, Rajit, Chelsea, and Charles. Mommy, said Stella, I'm going out. And she joined them. That day the bus settled in. Weeds nudged up around the tires, snails made silver trails, and a pair of sparrows nestled in the old engine. While the children played, the grown-ups mopped and scrubbed and polished. Friends, you will see an EQ posted. That means essential question. If we had been in kindergarten together this last 9 weeks, we would have talked about how communities help each other. Can you look at the picture of the grown-ups scrubbing and mopping and polishing? And can you think to yourself, how did this community help each other? They are cleaning this old bus out together. That night, the bus got a bit of new paint. Oh dear. That says street rats. That's called graffiti. Hello, boys, said Mom. I've got an idea. Come back tomorrow and you can paint the whole bus. Make it sparkle. Ooh. So they were really doing something naughty by spraying that bus. But the mom had a good idea and turned it around and said, come in the morning and we'll put you to work. The next morning, Stella drew a picture for the rats to copy. People came with donations. Poppy brought her goldfish Eric. Luke gave a set of super comics. Stella carried in her table soccer with the missing goalie. Why do you think they're bringing all of those things into the bus? Mrs. Stavros brought in a bus cake, and Lucy lent her dog Bear for anyone who needed to just sit and pat something. So how, friends, is the community helping each other now? By making cakes, by donating things to make the bus comfortable and fun, even a dog. And here's that picture again. Can some of those questions be answered now? What are they doing on the bus? Well, we know that they don't all live together, but they live in the same community or neighborhood, and they're becoming friends. They're using the bus as a place to hang out and play and read, get to know each other. Life returned to the old bus. Stella's fingers fluttered and her soccer players spun. Babies crawled, people laughed, kids fought, granddads scratched dogs. Meetings were planned. That sign says, wanted, for rent, house, for 3 cats, 2 dogs. Ring Ray. And then it says, Lucy, where are you? Sunny. Couples met, and the Fingles showed their vacation pictures. Look at the people, friends. I think they think the vacation pictures are not that exciting. Can you tell? What are they doing? They're sleeping. So there's the bus. There's a picnic. They're having a little garage sale or sidewalk sale you'll see in the front. But one Saturday morning, just outside Stella's house, there was music and dancing. There were picnics and laughter when a tow truck arrived. What do you think is going to happen? It's against regulation, said the driver. This bus is causing an obstruction. He means it sticks out, Stella's dad whispered. Oh, dear. The bus has to go, said the driver. As the front wheels left the ground, the snails dropped from under the bus, and a twittering came from the old engine. Oh, the birds are in there, the sparrows. Go where? Gasped the crowd. Do you know where they're going? Does this give you a clue? To the junkyard, came the reply. Friends, I put a C for connection here. Does this remind you of any other books we read in kindergarten this year with a junkyard? It reminds me of Peter and Archie in Goggles. Do you remember when they were in the junkyard? They found the goggles. The crowd pleaded for their bus, but the junkyard boss came out to join the driver and shook his head. This one's for the crusher. They're going to crush it. A little pink glow crept across Stella's cheek. Do you see her little pink cheek? I wonder why it's getting pink. Any ideas? She's being brave. 3 rescued snails were deep in her pocket. Excuse me, she said. Shall we play table soccer? You can have the only goalie, but if I win, we'll keep the bus. And why? Asked the junkyard boss. Tell me why I should play you for the bus. Because, replied Stella, there are sparrows nesting in the engine. The game began. Handles spun. The ball smacked, end to end. Then, goal! Stella scored. She followed that with 9 more, and won. The boss put out his hand. Joe, he said. Stella, said Stella. They shook hands. Then Stella ran to the front of the bus. Come and see, she said. Chicks! Amid the frantic flapping of the parent sparrow's wings, Joe, the junkyard boss, spoke quietly. Better get your bus somewhere safe, kid. Somewhere out of the way. Thank you, said Stella. And the crowd cheered. I know where we can take it, said Stella. While the others pushed, she and Mom sat up front to steer. Almost back to where they started from. And when the old bus came to rest at last, everyone else needed a rest too. Well, almost everyone. Now, friends, who's resting? All the grown-ups, right? They're tired. But the kids are still running around. That's always how it is. That evening, in the vacant lot just behind Stella's house, music drifted high over the city, and the grass was danced flat around a bus called heaven. As a full moon rose, 3 small snails slid safely back under tires. And tomorrow, Stella will see the sparrow chicks fly for the first time. I hope you enjoyed this book, friends. It always makes me think about how a community can come together and help one another.